So Rob Font, coming off of a loss to Jose Aldo, a loss where he was winning a lot of the fight, but he lost the big moments. And then you got Chito Vera, who's, the Ecuadorian toe right there, who was coming off of that front kick knockout of Frankie the Answer, Edgar, right? The Truth, the Answer? I don't remember. Either way, man, devastating knockout. This is going to be a fun fight, but what do you think about Rob Font being a minus 130 favorite? Like, to me, in a little bit of a way, it kind of feels like it's underserved. Like, his loss to Jose Aldo knocked some real steam off of him, even though he has a win over Cody Garbrandt, Marlon Moraes, Ricky Simon, and Sergio Pettis in his last 5. So what do you make of that?
Yeah, I actually think especially when I was breaking this down, I thought Rob Font was going to be the favorite. I thought it was going to be close. I thought it was going to be like a 115 to a 115, somewhere in there, a real close fight. But this is right up the alley as well. I definitely, I don't know if Rob Font lost steam from the Jose Aldo fight as much as everyone is like, well, yeah, it's Jose Aldo. You can't really get past that one. At least in my book, I didn't see him losing steam. So I was not as shocked to see him as the favorite on this one. I definitely, Chito Vera is kind of still not respected, at least in my opinion, as far as like the rest of the UFC in the division. He's still kind of slept on. Nobody gives him credit for the UFC or for the Sean O'Malley fight. So I think going forward, these next 3 wins after that one, man, he's really kind of put on, but still being slept on a lot. So I can see why Rob Font's the favorite in this one for sure.
Yeah, and I agree. Marlon Vera hasn't gotten the respect that he deserves because he's on another surge, man. He's had multiple surges in the UFC. I mean, let's look at his UFC record: 12-6, brother. I mean, that's ridiculous. You have what, 18 fights in the UFC out of your. He has 18 wins and he has 18 fights in the UFC. Obviously, he has more fights than he has wins. Regardless, I think that the matchup between these two is really going to be a testament on who is willing to or who is going to be able to implement their game plan. So, AJ, I don't know if you agree with me here, but one of the things that I thought was going to be very intriguing regarding this matchup was how are the leg kicks? Who's going to be more effective with the leg kicks and who's going to be more effective with the grappling? I think those are the two really big caveats for me, at least, that made me say that's going to be the difference in this fight. We already know Rob Font works off of a beautiful, stiff jab, but he doesn't have a crazy reach advantage like he does in most fights. He only has a 1.5-inch reach advantage on Marlon Vera. What does Vera do, though, to mitigate that reach? He uses his legs, right? Those beautiful front kicks, those teep kicks, man. That's breaking that range. That's his jab, kind of in a way, but he also fights, behind his own jab. If you had to guess right now, who shoots first in this matchup? Because both of these dudes can grapple.
Both these dudes can grapple, man. I'm actually thinking it's going to be Font. A lot of us, even when I think Rob Font coming to my mind, I think this slick boxer, man, straight down the pipe shots, moving, slick head movement, shoulder rolls, everything. But he can absolutely grapple with the best of them, man. Yeah. And I think he's going to kind of want to prove that one in this fight, especially once Chito starts kicking those legs, that front heavy leg that Rob Font likes to lead off of. Like you're saying with that big power jab, he puts a heavy foot down. Yeah. Chito Vera is going to start kicking that. And then I think Rob Font's going to take this fight down to the ground and try to prove a point. That I'm with you right there, Derek. Yeah. I really see the winner of this fight is going to be the one who can implement their game best and who's going to be the best of that night. This is going to be a very close and very fun fight.
So I thought it was interesting too, because when I was watching, film on both of these fighters, I see both of them like to walk forward and crowd their opponent. So only one person can do that in a fight, though. Someone has to lead the dance. Who would be more effective fighting off of their back foot is the question that I have. Is Rob Font more effective fighting backwards, or is Chito Vera?
I think Rob Font's more effective, man. He's just a little bit more elusive, a little bit slicker. And I keep talking Rob Font up on this one, but if folks, you remember that TLDR, I'm still going with Vera, but I think Rob Font is just that better, slicker of a striker, going backwards as well as going forwards. Forwards is a little bit more of a toss-up, but backwards, I think Chito doesn't work as well off of that back foot, and he starts to get a little pressured, and it's not really his style. So you can see the little bit of awkwardness in it. Rob Font can do both. He's much preferred to be on that front foot, but he can be slick on the back with the counter shots and the straight punches down the pipe. It's one of the best things for that counter punching style.
So what does it mean to you, AJ, that when both of these fighters, Rob Font and Chito Vera, they both fought Jose Aldo, and Rob Font was a very back-and-forth competitive 5-round fight. However, he did get dropped and hurt multiple times in that fight. And then Chito Vera just kind of got stuffed on the ground, just smash style, right, for 3 rounds against Jose Aldo. This is a fight that Vera actually says he wants to run it back because he thinks he could win that fight. What do those two different outcomes mean to you? They both resulted in a loss, but they were different methods of losing. So what did that mean to you?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Derek. Because one was a lot more devastating of a loss. The Cheeto Vera, that's
Yeah,
one that hurts the ego, especially like you said, he wants that one back. He
yeah.
wants he
There we
wants
go.
to actually get that one back, and because it hurt, man, it hurt the ego anytime you're getting stuffed on like that. So I think the Rob Font loss was a better look, and it puts kind of him in a better eye, better light whenever we're seeing two common opponents like that, especially a great one like Jose Aldo. How do you feel about it, Derek? Do you put a lot of weight into the loss that both of them had, or do you weigh one better than the other?
Well, the weight that I put into it is that just the simple fact that Rob Font, if there was a situation where he was kind of in that ground spot with Jose Aldo, he's able to get back to his feet. Cheeto Vera wasn't. So that tells me about the grappling exchanges. Because Rob Font, I think, is a very underrated grappler. Cheeto Vera is respected as a grappler, I think, more than he is as a striker, even though he's dangerous on both ends of the floor. Basically, what it comes down to is this. If they do initiate a grappling exchange, Marlon Vera has 8 submission wins, Rob Font has 4. So who is going to be looking for that submission? Is that going to be a possibility? Is that going to be an option? And with that being said, AJ, I think now is a perfect time to present some prop odds that I have for this fight. So for Marlon Vera to win by submission is looking at a plus 600 when you're looking at wagering right now, which I thought was kind of interesting because if you look at his last 5, he's got a lot of decision wins. Man, he hasn't won via submission in a little minute, right? Now, Rob Font, when I'm thinking, okay, what's some of his best shots to win? Maybe TKO, right? TKO or points. So on TKO for Rob Font, it's plus 350. On points, it's looking like plus 170. So Cheeto Vera's submission prop or Rob Font's TKO or points prop. Like, which one sounds more lucrative to you? How does that plus 600 submission prop for Cheeto Vera sound for you?
It sounds nice. Now, is that or a KO more likely? Oh man, I don't know because Rob Font's going to be very hard to catch a submission on, as well as never been knocked out.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very hard to crack this dude, get it going. I see value in the submission because it can happen. I just think the points are more likely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The points by Rob Font are more likely, so I think that's more lucrative. But I do see value in that plus 600, man. It's nothing to scoff at. Cheeto Vera can get the submission. On Rob Font, I don't know.
So when we're looking at it right here, this is actually Cheeto Vera's win record. His last submission win came in 2019 against Nolan Hernandez. And it's interesting though because when Cheeto Vera first came into the UFC, he was basically submitting everybody. Like that was the name of the game. Then he kind of got his hands nice. Now he's decisioning up a lot of people, knocking people out. So I think that submission prop is interesting, but I do really like AJ. I'm not gonna lie to you that Rob Font TKO prop at plus 350 or Rob Font on points at plus 170. Now for Cheeto on points, we're looking like plus 325. So the odds makers clearly don't think that he can win this by points, not necessarily. But if you had to go with a money line right here, let's just say you're going in favor of Cheeto. Plus 110 money line, or do you like the points plus 325? Which one sounds better to you?
Ooh, the plus 110 money line sounds like it's more possible to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see him pointing out a victory against Rob Font because it's
Yeah,
kind of his specialty on that one.
true.
What about you?
You know what? If I was rooting for Marlon Vera right here, believe it or not, I think I'd take that plus 325 points bet. Just because you never know, brother. What if he does get Rob Font to the ground and just holds him there and is able to win an easy just point fight like that? Who knows, man? This is the interesting thing about this matchup. You can't look at Cheeto Vera's last fight or Rob Font's last fight and just immediately say that's how it's going to play out this fight. I think it's going to be much more competitive than people think, and I do think people are sleeping on Cheeto Vera. However, AJ, I already let my pick out the bag. I'm rolling with Rob Font here, brother, and I think he gets the job done via points, my man. Even though I like the TKO prop, I think Rob Font is going to be the busier fighter, and I think that's what's going to win him the fight because significant strikes landed per minute, 5.5 for Rob Font, 4 for Marlon Vera. I'm not going to say that's what's going to dictate the fight, but I will say Rob Font, especially in the Jose Aldo fight, you saw him jab, 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 straight, hook, body shot. He's constantly moving. Cheeto Vera, he'll stalk you down and just kind of watch you, wait, and then look for the counter. So I think Rob Font's going to be busier. I think he wins on UD or some type of decision. And right now, that's looking like a plus 170 prop. So that's a little bit better than that minus 130. Either way, I'm rolling with Rob Font, UD. You got Cheeto Vera. How's he get it done, AJ?
Yeah, I'm going with Cheeto Vera, and I like what you said there, Derek. You can't really judge these two's last fight on exactly how it's going to go down, and that's why I'm going contrarian, man.
Yeah.
I'm going complete left field. Like I said, Rob Font's never been knocked out, but I think Cheeto's going to be the first one to do it.
Sheesh.
I'm going Cheeto Vera KO round 4. A little late in the fight, a little bit of time. If there's going to be a points victory, I see Rob Font winning it, but I'm going Vera with the early stoppage right there, brother. Like I
Okay.
said, contrarian with the KO.
Okay, well, the over and under is 4.5 rounds, brother. So you said early round 4. Are you taking the under?
Ooh, I'm taking the under. I'm
Okay.
taking the under.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. That is your main event for UFC Vegas 53.